Okay, so here I have an application that the Contoso organization, those of you familiar with Microsoft, Contoso comes back, and they have a head-tracks application which they use to allow their employees to move offices, to work out who's working for who. Now, this head-tracks app was written back in 2001 when .NET first came out. Still being used. It's vital to this business that they can get it to work. Now, how can we make that application move to using our new installer? Now, we provided the desktop application converter in the creators update, and a lot of you liked that, and it was a great way for you to convert your installer. But the feedback we got is it didn't really fit with your development lifecycle too great. So with the full creators update and the Visual Studio update that was released today, we have a new project that makes it super simple for you to do that. So here I have my existing WinForm app. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say add new project. And here's the Windows Application Packaging project. Click OK. I'm going to choose the latest SDK. And now it's created me that project. And I have to tell the project which application should it go and package up. So I'm just going to add a reference to the applications. And this automatically notices that head-tracks is already part of my solution. So I'll just click OK on that, check that, click OK, and I'm done. Now, just by adding that and clicking one thing, I now have an Apex that's going to be created for me. So I can just right-click on this, select the store menu, and say create Apex package, just as you would do for any other UWP. Now, I could submit this to the store, which would be great. I could get store identity. I could use all of the great store APIs. But in this case, I'm going to do it such that this application package I'm going to create, I can use from the store, but also I can deploy locally inside of my enterprise. Here I have standard information. Seems like version 10 should be the right version number for this new version. So I'm going to click that, click create. And what it's doing right now is building me that Apex, and should finish in a couple of seconds, if the demo gods are with me. Click on this, and I just look inside the folder, and I have an Apex I can just double click on and install, and I don't have to do anything from this way forward. It's just going to automatically create that every time I create a new version of the application. So you don't have to go write a new installer. It just does it for you. Now, I've actually put this one in the store, so we can take a look at the, I just submitted the Apex like I would submit any other Apex into the store. And the great thing about the store is, of course, it keeps me up to date, but it also provides the user's ability to give me some feedback, which I don't know about you, I wasn't thinking about when I was writing apps in 1999, 2000, about how I get user feedback. And I get analytics and crash dumps. So let's take a look at what people think of it. Well, 2 stars. Oh, that's not so good. So I like the app, but the UI isn't so great. And I really want to filter by manager, and I love this on my phone. So this is great. It's given me an opportunity to really listen to my customers and do something good. So what I want to do is start modernizing this application. And if you notice over here, I'm actually going to load up head-tracks 2017. And what I've started to do here is I'm really starting to use .NET Standard 2.0 to really help me reuse my code across a number of different UIs and experiences. So I have a Contoso data layer, which is just, you have a data model, which is pure C#. And the great thing about this, of course, I can run it on my desktop app, I can run it on my mobile app, I can also run it in the cloud too. I can use that same code and reuse it wherever I want. So here's my Contoso desktop app. And if I look at my reference, sure enough, there's the Contoso data. But you also notice I'm using the Telerik UI controls. Now, those of you familiar with this, Telerik UI controls are great. One, they're free, which is price to sell, but they also give you a whole bunch of functionality just free. You just drop it into your form, and away you go. So let's take a look at this application. So here's my app, and you notice I actually have all the information automatically available to me, and it's categorized by manager. Now, I didn't have to do anything to categorize. I just drag and dropped it, and automatically it categorizes that for me. Now, the other thing we've been getting feedback from users, they like master detail. Who doesn't like a master detail enterprise app? That's kind of classic. So when I click on this, then now using the more fluent design automatically gives me the user's information on the right-hand side, but we also found that oftentimes people are looking at multiple employees, and they would get lost as they were clicking around. So I can now click on this pin, compact view that's available in the full creators up there, so that this window will stay always on top, no matter clicking on new customers and employees below that. So allowing the user to really stay focused on what they want to go do. Now, I'm going to click these ones here. Now, if you remember, the feedback they're also providing is they really wanted the mobile experience. So if I flip back to Visual Studio, you notice that I have an Android and an iOS project. Now, these Android and iOS projects are using Xamarin. But again, Xamarin is using .NET Standard 2.0 as well. So when I look inside of my Android app, if I look inside the references, then sure enough, there's that Contoso data. I'm using the same data access layer across all my devices and all my PCs. The other thing to notice here is that in my view, I'm using XAML to create a mobile experience that is really targeted to look and feel how I'd expect it to be on a mobile. And I can reuse that XAML in my Android and in my iOS project.